and vote.
Thank you.
The Belleville Area District Library Board meeting for August 2021 will come to order. And we do not have a flag to
No.
pledge. If people want to pledge to invisible flag, we can,
There's
or
one outside.
we
There's one
could
over there.
pledge to the flag outside.
Oh, there it is. Where is it?
It's right,
What's this corner here?
Well,
it's
there's one
over
right over here.
There's
There's one
one here.
There's one for everyone.
We really
Okay.
can't see it.
We can see this
I
one.
can see that.
Really?
Well,
Sure,
yeah,
it's-
that one part.
it's on the window.
Whatever you guys want to do.
Right there.
It's over here.
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
I think everybody should come to this window.
Okay. We
can
can
see
see
it
it
here,
here.
over
Yeah.
here.
I can see
Well, maybe you don't. Anyway,
it. Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good.
Did you get a COVID shot there or?
I got a second shingle shot.
Me too.
Did you?
Today,
At CVS.
I got it at Rite Aid.
Okay.
I'm going to Walgreens for my
Good.
second.
Get your shingle shot. if
Yeah.
you
Get your
haven't
shingle
already
shot
done
at
it.
our age.
Yeah.
But they are expensive. Well,
Yes.
Anyway, not as bad as second shingles.
that's right.
So we've called to order. And the roll call, we do not, oh yeah, we knew in advance that we would not have our secretary. She was not in the July meeting and she is traveling now in August. So in her absence, I will ask Director Suchi to call the roll.
Chavez, here. Dawson, here. Hughes Brothers is absent and excused. Zarita,
Here.
Peters, here. Priest, here. Stonemeyer, here.
Thank you. So that we are all here and I hope that Alma is having a good, she has to travel. I hope she's having safe travels. Item 3, approval of the agenda. Linda,
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the agenda with an addition of an amendment that there will be an art committee report tonight.
That was good.
very good. The art committee was inadvertently left off this printed agenda by Mary Jo and I, and Linda is correcting that. So that item would be item number 6E. Are there, and, oh, there is a,
G.
oh,
Gee.
F, G, yes,
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad that some people can recite the alphabet. Okay,
Support.
in their support. It has been moved by Priest, supported by Stonemeyer, that the agenda be approved with an amendment to add item 6G, the art committee. Is there any other comments or questions or improvements? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying no. The ayes have it with no dissenting votes. Now we are to approve the regular meeting minutes for our July meeting, which was downstairs. And these minutes are in your packet.
Make a motion to approve the July 13th, 2021 regular meeting minutes.
Second. It has been moved by trustee Dawson and supported by trustee Chevitz that the July 13th minutes be approved. Are there questions or are there corrections or additions to the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by saying no. This motion carries with no dissenting vote. So we are on item 5, which is public comments. Do we have anybody in the public who wishes to address the board?
No, I attended the Sumter meeting just now and not a word said about the library.
No? Thank you for making sure we know if there is. Council meeting was today, the city council?
No,
Sumter.
Sumter Town.
Oh, Sumter, the regular Sumter meeting. Okay, I thought I heard you say.
Except now they're back to Zoom because they got COVID at the township hall again.
Well, fortunately, we're not in that place. I see, well, it's something keeps on going. Anyway, it sounds like we won't have public comments, although we are always being informed by Rosemary, who gets around to everything. So we will move to committee reports. And as we usually do, we will start with 6A, the building committee.
Well, I'm gonna say one thing, and that's because it was an email, and all the rest of it, somebody else is gonna have to say, because I was very sick that day. We finally got the Hennessy, was it $70,000, $80,000 that we gave them?
50,
50? Oh, wow, we must have-
53,000.
For inspections that they would be doing along the way. So we paid about double than the amount that it was gonna cost. And we received, did we receive it?
We haven't received it yet, but we're due to receive about approximately $25,000.
Yeah.
How
So
much again, 45?
25.
25.
So it's about half. of
Yeah.
What the down, what do you call, it's not a down payment. It's a
escrow.
escrow.
So that was good news. Much persistence by Matt Ratzow. Yeah.
Thank you to the city manager for pursuing that also.
Yeah.
And that is an important thing to note. The return of our deposit was the word I was trying to hear.
And then other aspects of the meeting, I don't know if anybody remember.
I took a few notes, and I would be glad to cover them with the proviso that director said she fills out what I forget to say. The committee members present, which were Dawson and Jariga, approved Pay Act 39 and Pay Act 40. The report was that the TRESPA panel issue is finally resolved. It's the area around this arc, around the entrance, and there's an area at the top of the tower in the back on Charles Street that has this material TRESPA, and there were some finalization. The way it was done initially wasn't right, and they have finally fixed it. We had a good discussion about the leaks last time in this meeting. We had talked about how they had been repaired. Well, we found, we've had a lot of rain this summer and a lot of rain with wind. And we found there was another leak, and there was a good amount of discussion about that. They took at the meeting, which was was several weeks.
No, it was
Whenever
last
it
week.
was. Last
Last
week.
Tuesday.
Have they done anything yet?
They haven't been out yet. The leak that, I think it's the same leak. They thought it was in the window in the curtain wall, and they repaired that. But it appears that the leak is actually coming from much higher, and it's more than likely in the coping up on top. So they
At the
need to
roof.
look at that.
Up here, anyway. So there was a good amount of discussion of that. And then there is some little water issues around the outside door for the staff entry and this outside door for the conference room down here. Those, when there's a lot of rain, there's some issues. So those are all going to be looked at. We are looking to do some enhanced ventilation. We've been talking about that in here a bit, the HVAC work. We were told, Matt was here in person at the meeting last week, and we were told that the HVAC timeline would be somewhere in mid-September, they would start. And they're expecting that they would be done at least by the end, they think mid-October, but at least by the end of October. And that's for all the kind of enhancements to our air quality. It puts us above where we'll be exceeding the required standards. But we, because there are some new technologies for COVID and virus protection, we want to take advantage of them while we are still new and while we still have a good construction team at our, to help us. Then we talked about the brownout that DTE was a DTE thing. It happened on July 22nd. Didn't cut off all our electricity, but it messed with the computers and other things. Did we hear anything more on that?
No, it was a branch came down over by the Methodist church, and we had a only partial power, but we did not have our computers, we did not have the HVAC system. So we finally, I think that happened around 5 p.m. that day, around about 6:30, we closed.
We had to close a
It was
little
apparent that it was not gonna come back on that evening.
And then we already talked about the Hennessy texting report that we finally got, and the reimbursement is in the works for half of that. We already talked about that from what Joy said. There was an extensive discussion of the trench drain. And then I had to leave early, so I'm gonna have to have Mary Jane and John and
doing it.
about the trench drain.
The trench drain seems to be working just fine because we had very heavy rains and it did its job by draining the water down instead of into the building. So it seems to be functioning properly, what it was supposed to do.
After your extensive discussion, we seem to be okay with it.
Yeah.
And were there other things?
Yes, I did bring up the fact that the bollard out in front was cracked. And Dan said he would call a manufacturer and check on it. It's okay now, but I'm afraid that in the wintertime, when we get some moisture in there and freezing, it'll expand and crack. So the crack goes all the way down the bollard, which the ball's out front.
There was a suggestion, though, that we put a sign on it that said, it's a dinosaur egg.
My granddaughter would love that. Actually, we're having in November, we're having a story hour that's especially about
November.
Dino-vember.
It's almost like Shark Week. Huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna see if I can get my granddaughter to come back. She's such a big, she's a T-Rex. She's such a big dinosaur fan. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, John. Other things are all seemingly moving along okay. Anything else? Yeah, I got the crack in the ballard down here as well. The Walker display system, do we have anything more on the timeline for that?
We don't, we're waiting for O'Neill Construction is going to be installing it. We're waiting for some information from them.
Have we ordered it, you know?
And I believe so.
Okay.
O'Neill Construction is also going to be handling the installation of the window blinds, that project, because they have to get it up into the ceiling, especially in the program room.
Did we get any bids on that at all?
Yes. I think they asked three people to bid, 2 people bid on it.
So that's in
Is it
progress.
going to be a solid shade or There's some light come through.
In the meeting room, both, we have a room darkening blind so that we can show movies. We'll also have a screen so that we can filter the light and some light will still come through, so depending on what we need. And we have various other areas in the library where we will have some screening.
Do you recall how they're gonna address the arches on the top?
That's why they need to get into the ceiling, because the shade is going to drop down from the ceiling, so it's
Oh,
not,
okay,
so it's gonna, the blind's gonna be in front of the windows, it's not gonna be like right
okay.
in the window frame. So we're getting a blind in the children's story time room, some of the staff offices on Roy Street, and some issues with the sun coming in really heavy in the evenings, so to kind of shield that.
And these are things we didn't know until we got in here.
And the bees.
The bees are very happy.
Until I was talking about, we can't do a camera.
Oh, we get, yeah, the bee camera, I love the idea. Implementing it has proved to be very expensive. And drilling through the roof is kind of not.
What did we guesstimate, about 40,000?
No, you're thinking of another project.
Okay,
Probably a good $6,000.
What about moving the
So,
bees?
so we're going to, well, what we're gonna do is we have to do some special programming and have some Facebook Live events and things like that up there that people can watch, and we'll make sure we post that.
I kind of like Linda's idea of moving the bees.
I
Well,
thought they had to be in a certain place. Well, there's with
Well,
all those.
initially, we wanted them on the roof, the vegetated roof, where
Right.
the kids could, the high school kids could at least see them, or kids could see them.
right.
But then the architect had a good idea. He said, let's just put them on the roof.
Mhm.
And that way, when the beekeepers they won't follow the beekeeper into the building. And it'll be,
It's easier access on the roof
Yeah.
to get at them.
Yeah.
I think the issue with putting them in with on the vegetative roof was the amount of real estate that it took compared to the roof.
Yeah.
And they do follow
Yeah.
you,
Mhm.
so.
I do
might
have,
a few
I
extra
did have
bees in the
parents,
The
library.
bees are they see, we had the bee program a couple of weeks ago from Bees in the D. And he went to check on the bees before the program. He said they're doing very well and they might even produce some honey this year, which he said is unusual for a first year.
So we really shouldn't disturb them. Then if they're doing well. I mean, as much as we'd like to see them and
Right.
have the kids and everyone see them.
But we will make sure that we do some live action videos, and when he comes to take care of the bees, to film that and post that online so people can see what's going on up there.
And we're very lucky they're doing so well. Yeah.
So anything else about the building committee or building? Any questions about the building that anybody in this room has?
Sharon, I think right after you left, we did talk a little bit about some mock-ups of some of the
Oh,
signage.
signs,
Yeah.
signage, yeah, that's another big thing that we have to keep working on. I think the reason that it's going like this is that Dan and Jennifer, they felt like instead of sending each little project to manufacture, they wanted to send them all at once. And so it's taken a lot of time. They have not, did they finalize how we're gonna acknowledge people who donated trees?
Yes, we're gonna have an individual sign for each tree.
And they finalized
Mhm.
exactly what that will be. So is the package final now?
It's pretty close. We had to make a couple of changes to some language. It's once they saw the mock-ups, there's nothing like actually seeing the real sign to trigger and say, okay, this should change, so.
So there were a
Two
couple of,
small things like that. I think they're pretty close, so.
so we're
Jennifer's has been going over that quote, so.
So we're pretty close to the mega sign package going in. The rest of these signs were done little by little, the ones that are already up, but all these, it's not just donor signs acknowledging donors, it's some of the and rest of our other signs as well. So I guess it's to be expected. It's just that it's been a little more, we put up a whole building and then now trying to get these signs together. Seems like it takes forever. How could this be? But anyway.
It seems like everything is taking a long time, all of the trades and getting products.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I did have signs circled here. Okey-dokey. So mainly, as you know, we're talking about the same things we talked about last month. It's just that each one of them has gone a little further. Anything else, either Joy or Mary Jo or anybody?
Has anything happened with the results on the outhouse? On the, I think. the library
outhouse.
Well, the
Porta potty.
Porta John.
Our library.
On Porta John.
Yeah.
Did the people in the city talk at all? They did not talk to us about putting. the
I have
outside.
a-
do we
I have a
not
har-
mind?
I have a Harvest Fest
No, we
meeting.
don't know.
Okay.
I have a Harvest Fest meeting on Thursday that Janet Millar's gonna be at from the CBC, so I'm gonna talk with her about it. I would like to, I want to see how much it's being used. So it's not being used that much. I know if I'm outside and I'm looking at that porta john and I'm looking at this library that probably is a nicer bathroom, I'm going to come into the library.
I had talked
I
to,
would be willing to say that, people can use the library, they have the porta john.
I talked to Janet and she mentioned that Tom Fielder and Rick Rutherford said, that's the library property, put it over there. And I go, usually the library property is separated by telephone poles to designate who's on the property line. And that is the library property, but
They just did it.
pardon me?
They just couldn't find a place to put it, so they punked it.
Well, I told them put it in front of the
They
museum.
didn't get approval.
Huh? No,
You could ask the city
Anyway,
manager.
I'm gonna propose a solution though, that the library is willing to.
Except if when the library's not open, like when
Well,
they're doing.
The programs that they're doing are all during library hours. They're all ending by 9, so.
That was a,
Well, you proposed that to Jan.
yeah. I
the
did.
purpose of the porta potty is to provide public.
I believe it's for the market.
Oh,
market.
okay.
Market and
And
the
the
car
car show.
And the first Wednesday.
All right.
And again, the perfect spot for that is right from the museum, the fire door there, which is not being used.
I think that would be a lovely idea. I mean, and the other thing is that I think when we were doing all that negotiation with the city, that the idea of this joint parking lot would mean that we'd be communicating about what we did.
I did communicate to Rick Rutherford that if we could get the city sweeper to sweep our parking lot every once in a while before open, and he said that should not be a problem. So hopefully that'll be done.
Now that you mention that, in a related item, that this was a side conversation, I did have a side conversation yesterday, with a member of the DDA about the DDA does the artwork, the
Right.
statues, and we thought it was really lovely to have a statue there. But then right after that, the city piled up their
Barricade.
Yeah.
Sawhorse.
Sawhorse.
Their sawhorses that they use.
Yeah.
And they've been piled up on the side of that. I actually like that, the statue quite a bit, but I
I
just
do
don't
too.
think that looks good the way it's stuck there. I see there's one, when you enter, there's one of those sawhorses up there by the, nearer to Main Street, but then there's a bunch of them just thrown up on this. It doesn't give a very good impression for your
And
art.
they leave them there all summer.
Yeah,
Right, because they reuse them.
I don't, I
Yeah, for
never,
the car show.
Car show, yeah.
Yeah.
so they get them out when they are doing something.
Yes.
But then they just come and throw them back there on.
Yeah, I don't think that they need to just be chucked someplace.
And not right by where you've worked to get art.
Yeah.
That and the porta potty have been my things with the city, but So we're aware of these things and trying to do something.
Could I add something? Today I was able to watch part of the Zoom budget meetings at Van Buren Township. So one of the things they said they want to do right away is get the landscaping fixed at the museum to make it look better around, because you're looking so good. So they don't want to look bad. So
Good.
they're gonna get that done yet this year.
Good.
This little area really is the partnership between the communities, so it's all good. We'll hope that we just move along like that.
Could we put the people counter by the porta potty just to see?
I don't know, I surely haven't seen, I have not seen anybody using it, even on Monday nights. My husband and I have been down here the last couple of Mondays. But I haven't sat outside the porta potty place to watch either. Anyway, I think if nobody else has any building things, we could move on, which several of these will be pretty quick. Bylaws Committee,
I
John?
have no report.
No report on bylaws. Finance Committee, Tanya? No report. We took care of that before. And then the Marketing Committee is going to meet up. Alma called before she was, she knew she wasn't going to be here. And she asked to see about having a marketing committee. I think we talked about it before too.
Right.
Early September, hopefully before the September meeting. But after August, after people's summer times are over. Personnel Committee,
No report.
no report on that one. And the Policy Committee does have a,
Ta-da-da-da-da-da.
and I missed the Policy Committee meeting, I'm sorry, Chair.
So there have been some issues with people eating and drinking in places in the library where it's really not appropriate, like fried chicken and the computers.
And the
And
computers are not a good place.
I don't know if there's been any beverages that have been spilled. No, okay. So we've come up with a plan. Kept it really simple. What is it, 4? Yeah. And it could be revised at some point in time, one way or the other. We have these lovely signs. So this is a green food zone. So this-
Oh,
Good idea.
Okay.
you-
So enjoy your food and covered drinks here, okay? So you can bring in sushi or something in a little snack bag. This is, although this looks pink, this is a red food zone. Enjoy your covered drinks carefully. Please move to another area to eat. So the big thing is covered, not just coming with a mug, okay? And these are all courtesy of Lindsay. This is a yellow food zone. Enjoy your covered drinks and individual snacks. So an apple, an orange, a banana, snacks in a bag.
But
and
not
covered
sushi.
drinks. But not sushi. And then this is a template for the whole thing. So these are going to be posted around the building, so the staff have something to point to that says this is what this means, red, yellow, or green. So blue is covered drinks only, red zone, adult computers, so that'll be by the computer, so no eating by the computers. The yellow is covered drinks, snacks allowed, yellow zones will be in the general library, the study rooms, and the conference room. And all food and covered drinks are welcome in the green zones, which would be the lobby, the team loft, kids hub, and the COSAT event room downstairs.
What about the deck outside?
We need to add the terrace. The terrace
Terrace.
is fine, yeah. Mhm.
Do you have enough trash or stuff to go?
Yes. I think the policy is broad enough to give the librarians latitude to move the signs. If something's not working in a room, we could say, okay, this can't really be a green zone, it needs to be a yellow zone. And it addresses some of the behavior issues around food. Yes, you can eat in the library in certain zones. No, you can't throw chicken McNuggets across the
When
room.
they open their
cannot
can
have
of
a
tuna
food
fish.
fight.
We've
Well,
had
that's
that.
part of it.
Tuna fish, sardines.
Oh, that's- But that's part of it. Staff reserves the right to request patrons to remove or clean up food, beverages if the food or beverages are creating a mess, damaging the library, or causing odors that are considered a nuisance. Taking tuna fish in there.
Yeah, no Limburgers in.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to see anything spilled on the carpet, though.
That will make me.
It's gonna happen.
It'll still make me
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
It's gonna
all those
happen
carpets
whether you're
I
off
know,
or
it's
not.
just, the first time it's gonna be hard. I just got into carpeting in my house.
Okay.
Everybody's
You can
on
drink-
edge.
You can drink water in your house. but nothing
Yeah, right.
else.
I wasn't allowed to eat ever.
No red wine.
Right. That's the truth.
Well, the policy committee has been busy and it looks very effective. Are there any, are we ready to adopt this tonight? Is that what we're looking to do?
I make a motion to approve the food policy.
I will second that motion.
It is moved by trustee Chehevitz and supported by trustee Priest that we approve the library food policy as submitted. You can take a little minute to look it over before we vote, just to make sure if there's anything. Mary Jane, I'm sure, did her spelling. Well,
I think I did. And just a little bit of more information. Alma was here for that meeting and she's seen this, so she approved it.
good, that's good.
How do you identify if something is alcoholic beverage? I see people, music in the park, walking up and down the street and their own cups, like mine.
Did you
Not
spike
exactly-
yours?
not exactly transparent. Anyway, I know they've got alcohol.
By the behavior. of
And the
person
lady,
holding the cup.
one lady says, let's dance. I go, I don't dance unless I drink. She says, here.
Well, you can smell it on them.
Yeah.
It's usually behavior. I
Yeah.
mean, if they're drinking and there's no unusual behavior, but what are you gonna do?
There should be some kind of a
Yeah.
test. You know, can you say this sentence quickly?
That time at your library, you scared me. That time you questioned that fella. Told me he had to leave, the big guy.
I don't
And
remember.
I
I've
do.
done it so many
Scout's honor, I
times,
remember
don't
this.
even-
And I go, and he left.
What was he doing?
I can't remember it,
He
because
was-
this is a regular
There's
person in
so
my
much
library.
on her library.
Yeah, you
Her
know,
library has some
I
really
go,
interesting quotes.
whoa. Anyway,
Was he drunk?
yeah,
Okay,
well, you could smell him on him, you
yeah,
know.
Yeah.
yeah, that's what, that's.
So
what-
it's gonna have to be a case by case.
Yeah.
But there is in this language a good deal of latitude, and I'm once again very impressed with the creativity of our library staff to come up with those signs and that idea. And we'll just have to see how well it works. If staff brings back problems, well,
I go to the gym in Romulus and every 5 feet, there's a different sign all over the place. Some times you have too many signs and I'd like to limit that if possible. I understand, you know what I'm saying? We have a beautiful library. We don't need, I'd rather see the paint walls and stuff.
Yeah, I was thinking like little tabletop signs or tent signs or something a little more.
Well, we can adjust these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of the first one,
Mhm.
yeah, so.
yeah, I must admit, I think I stopped over here and ended up talking to Hillary before you had your meeting. And I was kind of where Linda was just talking about. I was worried that I'd ever see some speck on our beautiful new library. But the librarians really, I appreciate our staff. They really want this to be the people's library, which it is, and, you know, if somebody's studying and they're hungry, you don't wanna make them have to leave, and, you know, if they need something, as long as we have some guidelines, and we do.
We just want everyone to respect it as much as we do. So,
Yeah, and that's gotta be, you know, some judgment and some
Right.
way that our staff interacts with people, and
Mhm.
there are gonna be people, especially the team, you know, I mean, the food fight idea is not a total, like, it would have never happened, it's something that could, so we'll just have to keep an eye on it.
It might not hurt to even have a generic sign that says, you know, keep your library clean and beautiful, or, you know,
Yeah.
just so people kind of
Yeah.
walk in.
This
The
is
door
your,
thinking that,
yeah, respect your property. Um.
So,
So,
and the library itself, I mean, it is new and bright and shiny. I think a lot of people do respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, they respond to that.
Yeah, if it was already dirty,
Right.
you know,
Right.
there's gonna be a different attitude towards it.
well, there is a motion and a second. So, is there any other comments before we vote? We are now in our in-person voting. It's so much easier to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying no. The motion carries with no dissenting votes. So there, now we have one more report, committee report, and the chair of the committee is here, the art committee. It's really kind of fun. I would like to turn it over to Michelle Montour to tell about the last meeting, and you have a handout that you just got.
Yes, my name is Michelle Montour, and I am the current chair of the art committee for the library. And one of our patrons, and he lives in Van Buren, I've worked with Doug Peters. I'm gonna present this as no one knows him, but he approached Mary Jo. He has quite a collection in his home of art, and he has offered to loan some of his art to the library. So I met with him and I got to look at everything he had, and it's amazing. But there were two pieces I thought in particular, which you have copies of. And one is called Red Dawn, and it's a museum wrap canvas, which is 36 by 48. Oh, that I have this backwards. That one's about 3 pounds. I got the weight backwards. And then the second one, which is framed, is Tomorrow's Journey. And this is an artist that was a client of Doug's, and his name is Vasarian Bakarazzi. So when the committee met, our committee met in July, we looked at the paintings and everyone thought that they would suit someplace in the library. So we did do a walkthrough, and we felt that the periodical room was a good spot for it, for both of them, to put them in there. So what I'd like the board is, I'm asking for the approval to hang them in the periodic room, but I would, my only concern is that I haven't done any testing with command hooks, you know, the temporary hooks on the wall, because we've discussed like putting screws and nails in, and we really don't want to go in that direction, because then you have to repair it, blah, blah.
Right.
So I haven't done that yet. My secondary concern is that I need Doug to come in to that room to make sure that the lighting will not affect the paintings. So, which I'm thinking right now, it should be fine. From when we went through, it doesn't look like there's an overabundance of light that comes from outside that could damage the paintings. But those are my only things. But if the board feels that these two paintings could work in our library on a temporary loan, and Doug said we can, it's unlimited how long we can keep them. And of course, he would ensure them, the library is not responsible for anything. So
And
the
it would be
owner-
a period of, wasn't it over a year that?
it would be over a year, but up to 5 years.
Oh.
And I think he's open to that at this point. Like I said, he has quite a collection, and I think the future programs that we have, I would like to tap into his collection and borrow for programs. And he's perfectly willing to have us do that too. He's got a beautiful photograph of Muhammad Ali. And I think it would be appropriate for a program that we have going on in the library. He also he's got a collection of like rock and roll bands. He's got all the original photographs. Plus he
Wow.
published a book, you know, and it's like, well, if we did something about music of the 60s and 70s, that would be so cool to have all these great photographs. You know what I mean? I mean, that would be a great thing in our gallery or maybe on display on, I don't know, I haven't decided, you know, like where it would go, but I thought, you know, and then he's got all kinds of tapestries, which would be great too, but that's also a hanging issue that he and I were discussing. So, but anyway, right now, my feeling is that the committee, we felt like maybe adding 2 more pieces to our library right now, like for viewing purposes. And then of course I would put little identifications of who the artist is and, you know, if it's like it's acrylic, you know, give that information kind of thing, but not.
Maybe put donated, but.
It's loan, it's not
I
donated.
mean,
This is
well,
on
on
loan.
loan.
If Doug would like this, I don't know, he's very,
Private.
yeah, he really, I think if we just identify the artist and just like in a museum, you identify the title, artist, medium, you know, and usually that's enough. He does have a resume of the artist if the board would like to see that at some point. I mean, that's up to you.
Doug is a walking art.
He's quite an amazing individual.
He's a
His artist name is John Douglas
Oh, yeah,
Peters,
Yeah.
and his lawyer name is Doug Peters.
right. Oh, it's hard to keep track of.
He's not an attorney anymore, but
Well, okay.
Michelle, the wall that you were looking at,
Is the above the shelves where the clock is right now?
So it's the opposite of where the fireplace.
Correct.
is.
It's opposite of the.
so the afternoon sun would be.
I don't know, I have to come, that's one of my concerns.
Okay.
I haven't been in I've been in the library numerous times, but I haven't been,
The afternoon sun really hits hardest on the other side. of the
That
building.
is something so
Okay.
bad.
It hits over there by where Mary Jo's office is.
okay.
Right, but it has to get there.
It
It has to start from the
morning. Is
east.
it the morning sun? That's probably why I haven't seen it. so
Well,
much.
when our committee met was at 3:00 and there was not an issue.
Right.
So,
In the afternoon. I've never
but
seen
if you
it.
think like maybe 5:00 might be an issue, like, I don't know.
I don't
They're
know.
saying the
Okay,
mo-
I'll make
they're
sure,
saying
I'll
the
make sure that
morning.
I come a little more frequently and I can document like how the sun hits that wall. You know, because that is a concern. I know you would feel the same
Right,
way.
and it's gonna change
Great.
throughout the year.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to talk
Yeah.
about that.
And it sounds like the morning sun, but when the group, and it was nice, the art committee went through the building and the group thought that to put those 2 up on that wall, kind of balancing each other.
Right,
So they would be above where the magazines
right.
are
Right.
displayed.
I mean, there's rooms over here, you know, the room that I think is a study, I don't know if it's a study room, but no one's using it right now. So if we hung that in there, I don't know, right now, I think that'd be kind of a,
And also we have that ventilation repair going on, that will be going on, and it's.
oh, is it in that area?
It would be
Yeah.
on the second
Alright.
floor in that area. We went.
Yeah.
do that now.
Okay.
Would you, so you said this is, I think you used the term, was it museum wrap, the Red Dawn?
Yeah, it's just, there's no frame.
Oh,
So the
okay,
canvas is
okay.
wrapped
That's what
around.
you mean, all right.
Yeah.
alright.
So there's no frame, and like I said, I had the weight opposite. The unframed one is 3 pounds, and the
Frame
framed one
ones, I see.
is 5 pounds.
is this oil painting or acrylic?
Acrylic.
It's acrylic. It's acrylic. Yeah, that's right. Maybe I am right.
I've never had good luck with command hooks, but over time, seems like they always loosen up.
I'm sorry, what?
The
Say it again?
command hooks.
Oh, yeah, they do loosen up, okay,
Yeah, and they
Well,
fall down.
okay.
That's my
It
experience.
depends. One of our nieces is married to an engineer who at 3M.
Mhm.
And every Christmas, he gives every family a box of all these 3M products. And so this was 3 years ago. I opened up the box and there was this big fat black one in there and it said it was good for 7 pounds. And I said, Eric, would that hold up my wreath on my front door, on the glass door? And he goes, oh, yeah. His wife and her sisters, oh, no, it'll fall down. He looked at me and he said, they don't put them up right. And I'm like, okay, so I put it up, took a picture, took another picture with the calendar next to it when I took it down, and I think it was early March.
So it worked.
Yeah,
Okay.
Outside.
outside, yeah.
And maybe you get it extra heavy duty. you
Right.
know.
I
They're-
haven't done
they-
any, I can't remember where I went first. I haven't done like the big, I haven't gone to Menards or something like that. It's like, okay, all I could find was 3 pounders. I'm like, I want to go overboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want like 5 and 7 or 10. I want to go like the higher
Right.
weight, just in case, so. But
Is
then I
the
still
frame-
want to test it someplace.
Or order them directly from.
Oh, that's
3M,
true.
You know, if you can't find what you want.
And we
I
can-
think they have a 10 pounder, but I've not got them.
and if you know what you want, the library we have an account through Office Depot, so
Okay,
we can get them that way.
okay. I'll look.
Is the frame going glass covered?
No,
Okay.
that would be a concern, yeah.
Yeah.
If they're, especially with that, I'm thinking these commands will work, but I wouldn't chance it if there's glass.
Yeah.
This is really a great opportunity for our library, and Doug Peters really is a gem. He's a community treasure. And the fact that he is interested in enhancing the community's art exposure and appreciation is really, and that he's generous with his library. He already has served us well, helping us to develop policies on the art committee and helping us put together some of our little contracts, I guess you call them.
Right.
Do we need a motion or
People that
anything?
loan.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that these paintings be hung in the, what room is that? Periodic room.
Well, do you want to be that specific or just? that we
Well, this is
accept
what the
them
art
all?
committee is recommending at this point. If Doug is opposed to it completely, I mean, I can come back to the board if you'd like, if you feel I need to.
Better yet, I'll change that. I'd
Okay.
just say, I make a recommendation, we accept these 2 acrylic paintings and we have them hung.
Okay, that sounds,
On loan,
Yeah, we accept them on loan.
on loan.
yeah, on loan,
I'll
right?
second.
Been moved by Jariga, supported by Chehevitz,
Okay, great.
that the 2 paintings from Doug Peters, on loan from Doug Peters, be hung in our library. Are there questions or comments before we vote? No. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by saying no. There are no dissenting votes, and Madam, our committee chair, you have a winner here.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm really excited about this.
I have to say that our committee has done, and this right here, it gives us the hint that there'll always be something fresh. We can keep this building fresh. And there may be other citizens around here who have things they would loan like this, but I don't know that, there's not many in this community that know more about art than Doug Peters does, and I'm just glad he's helping our library. So that takes care of our committee reports, I do believe. And I thank you so much for coming and talking to us directly, Michelle.
Well,
Michelle's
thank you
been
very
doing
much.
really a fabulous job on that art. We are really fortunate.
So would you mind if I leave?
No. Then we'll say the rest of the stuff we have to say about you.
Yeah,
If
I
you
didn't,
can
I
see
brought
the
my,
meeting
I brought my
online.
measuring tape just in case anybody wanted to see how big these pages are. Go look, but anyway.
Thanks, Michelle.
No,
Thank
thank
you.
Okay, I'll follow up with Mary Jo, just letting her know, and if I need to come back and present, I'd be happy to do that. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now for the unfund, we have accounts payable, which is something we need to do, but not quite as fun as art or food.
I make a motion that we accept accounts payable as presented.
It's been moved by Dawson, supported by Priest, that we accept the accounts payable as presented to us. Okay, everybody. See, the most amount of money that we're spending is for books. Isn't that amazing? Followed by liability insurance. And then we do have another bill in our capital fund project, another one that is in this set. But it's a lot different than it was a while ago. Now we're
I
spending
see
less.
most of the retainage is zeroed out.
Yeah,
We'll get close.
yeah, as, well, we have the motion on the
Yeah.
accounts payable, so we should take care of that. So any other questions? A lot of times board members have questions on issues in here. Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by saying no. Accounts payable are accepted. And right connected with those are construction documents that the building committee has handled, but wanted to make sure that the whole board sees everything. And I think Joy has a comment.
Oh, I was just noticing that the retainage balance, the last column, most of them are zeroed out, meaning they're all finished for good.
Yeah.
And earthwork utilities have a pretty high retainage balance right now. Probably from the HVAC, is that because of the HVAC stuff? And Joe, for the earthwork utilities.
Can't remember.
Anyway, I just get excited when it gets to zero.
Well, we've come a long way.
Yeah.
We've come a long way to where we were kind of imagining everything. Now it's all pretty much done. But that, we do not have to take a vote on this today. We just have to make sure that everybody gets their questions answered. If anybody has got any concerns on that, please either bring them up now or later. And we've still been doing really well with the decisions that this board made about our construction management. They have been really good to work with. Well, now we are at item 8, which is our director's report. And Joe?
Well, back to masks, it looks like for a little while. We are recommending the masks. We are not requiring them at this point. This is based on current CDC guidelines for our area. We are now, as you all know, Michigan has substantial community transmission of COVID, specifically Southeast Michigan, Wayne County. So we've posted signs throughout the library, and I've informed staff that I'm recommending that, that you wear a mask. Again, we're not, enforcing this. It's a person by person decision at this point. We are continuing with all of our other events and everything the same way. So we're continuing with all of our programming, all of the use of all of our study rooms, meeting rooms, etc. I did start giving you the comparative statistics for this year versus last year. I have kind of suspended that, during our year of COVID when everything was all over the place. As you can kind of tell by these wild numbers, we're still not quite seeing normal things. I did want to show you though, our circulation numbers are fantastic.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think, is that a record?
It's not a record, but it's
Really good.
definitely, I'm considering the year we had,
Yeah.
with the closures and having to do a lot of things virtually, it's a fantastic circulation. So that speaks to our new building. So, and hopefully some of these other numbers will start to normalize as time goes on.
Let's see, you put some popular materials, some materials in this.
We do, we put some materials at the Sumter Branch, we do have some shelving there, as you walk into the building, it's in the back. So we were able to put a collection there of some new items, popular materials, a very tiny reference collection, so we'll see how that goes. We're also going to be holding some classes there in the fall, we're gonna be doing some computer classes, so I'm excited about that. A lot of good programs coming up. If you're not
But now we do have some books.
now we do have some books there too. If you're not doing anything on August 28th, that's a Saturday at 11 a.m., come to the library. We're having Beverly Meyer, the music lady, come and perform for us. And she's a lot of fun. Predominantly, for kids, but the kids are hard too. The majority of our summer reading program was virtual performers, so it's just kind of nice to have some live performances. And we are introducing a teen book group in the fall, so I've got a flyer here about our teen book club.
I think that's.
So that's gonna be a new
That'd be really
new
nice.
program that we're really looking forward to.
Yeah.
Under circulation usage, I have a trivia question for all of you except for Mary Jo. How many books or materials can we check out of this library? Do we have books, magazines, newspapers? How many things can we check out?
Like one person at a time.
No.
It
How
just-
many possibilities in the entire library? How many things can be checked out? How many
50?
items?
Is it 50 items or 100 items?
No, not
How
per
many
individual, the
items?
entire building.
How many items do we have in
Oh.
our collection that can?
Is
be
there a
checked
number?
You
out?
mean if
Yes.
the
You know
shelves
the
were
number.
empty?
Yes.
He knows the
Okay,
number.
okay.
Got any guesstimations?
Thousands.
95,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say about 100,000.
That's pretty amazing
Yeah.
compared to what we had over there.
Mhm.
It's amazing.
Good for
Probably
us.
less than a quarter of that, I'm guessing, yeah. The old library,
We really packed it in there too,
yeah.
yeah. But we
Yeah, but you
We
can
did a-
move
we
the
did a
books
really
on
good-
the shelf now.
you can see, yeah, you can, when you pull a book out, the rest of them don't come out with you. So,
And
It's
as you,
easier to see them. it's more
if you walk
accessible,
through the
yeah.
library on all these shelvings, you'll notice the very bottom shelf is still empty, so we have room for more.
Room to grow.
Yeah.
And we have an excellent collection. My hat is off to our librarians. They do a very good job selecting books and materials for the library. They spend a lot of time on that, so they do a fantastic job.
Well, very good. That is our director's report. She has in here about our COVID business and then, oh yeah, this investment piece. I looked at that. This is what we talked to the community about, and obviously our community heard us. Investment in our community, and we're glad to be handling it. So now it's time for trustee comments. And today we'll start on Tanya's hand.
So, I really like this room, it's nice to explore the library. Also, I wanted to mention that today I had to have a COVID test because a coworker tested positive. I'm negative, so I'm fine. But, just everybody needs to keep in mind that we gotta keep washing our hands and, in the distancing and all that kind of stuff, so. It's not over yet, even though I like.
Yeah.
It's never going to be, there's always going to be another
Something.
variant or
Variant,
whatever.
Well, I hope that.
That's what viruses do. That's what the
I
cold is.
just hope
something, that's
that there
what the
won't
flu
be
is.
the kind of.
It's kind of a nurse, so.
Yeah. You just have to be careful.
Thank you, Tanya. Joy?
Just hold the date for Harvest Fest, I guess, October 9th. I need to touch base with Mary Jo and find out details of where we're laying things out and stuff. But it'll be different to have it here. Yeah,
It'll be a lot different.
yeah.
If I wrote that down, yeah, I do. You might wanna, everybody might wanna know October 9th. We talked about it before. It's one of the bigger things the library has always done, and it will be interesting to see how it translates to a different setup here. Hopefully, like everything else, it'll be better, bigger and better. Anything else, Joy?
No,
Linda?
well, I'm not ready to think about fall yet. I'm still in the lazy days of summer with the getting up early in the morning, going to bed late at night, enjoying it. Even though it's boiling hot today, it's still wonderful.
When did you say you're going back down for?
The baby's birthday, September 12th, so we'll leave about the 9th. I think I'll be at the next meeting
Okay.
and then we'll be gone just for 3 weeks.
Live with grandparents. The meeting
Way to go for
is,
birthday, but-
the meeting is the 14th.
Oh, I thought it was earlier. Yeah, well, I will not
Well,
be here
we're gonna
then.
have to ship him up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring him to the meeting. Yeah, the meeting is.
Okay, so I will miss
it's
the
in
next meeting.
It's in the middle of the month.
Yeah, because we'll be gone from the
Yeah,
9th to
yeah,
the
we can't
20th.
do the Zoom. That was kind of fun when
That
you could
was.
be at the
yeah.
meeting anyway.
Mhm.
And now we're back to the regular required in-person meetings for public entities. John?
Yeah, I plan to not be here tonight. We were supposed to go up north for a week, but I injured myself, my hand, and we were celebrating our 49th wedding anniversary tomorrow.
Congratulations.
Very nice.
But not for injuring yourself. We're sorry about
Yeah,
that. But we're glad
Yeah.
you're here with us.
Thank you.
So you're not going at all then?
No,
And I'm glad that Debbie has hung in there for 49.
And we're all really.
that was really well said.
Well, John, I'm going on a 50th wedding.
Are you really?
anniversary At the end of this year, so.
Wow.
54.
Well, there you go. We're long-termers in here. With that, we come to you, Mary Jane.
So I really didn't have that much to say until you told me it was your anniversary. So one year, my husband went up north to see some friends. He was in Mackinac City, and you know how they have all of these things that you can buy, souvenirs. So he came home with this blue wooden plaque about like this that says, marriage is a relationship in which one person is always right and the other one is the husband. And he said,
So
hang it
true.
in the right.
Somebody give that to my husband. Somebody please give that to my husband.
I just thank everybody for being in the moment, no matter what the moment brings, you know, different changes in the community, in our lifestyles and everything. And eventually we'll all learn to deal with this stupid virus. That's it.
And we can all be safe. Then we are now to item 10, which is chair comments. And once again, it is really good to be in the room we had envisioned for our board to meet in, and meeting pretty much the way we envisioned, although who envisioned masks when we were thinking about all of this? But if we can do this safely, and if we can continue to serve the public safely, I'm really proud of our staff and the way this building has been operating. But I'm also really happy, we all felt that it would be we wanted to be a civic hub, a hub of our community. And from what I've been seeing, this whole area and the library is really coming into its own in Belleville, and hopefully we'll just keep moving forward, whether we have to wear masks or not. Just stay safe, everybody.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that this meeting be adjourned.
Second.
It has been moved and supported that this meeting be adjourned. Who needs a gas?